Hello, and welcome to Nosotros, the podcast about Mexican-American history, politics, cultura, y más, brought to you in part by the Gámez Law Firm. I'm your host, Elaine Ayala, Metro columnist for the San Antonio Express News. My guest today is Blanca Aldaco. She's the founder, owner, and operator of Aldaco's Mexican Cuisine. She has been in the food, restaurant, and cocktail industry for 3 decades or more. I remember going to her very first restaurant on East Commerce that was in a little casita. It was good. She's a native of Guadalajara, and it's no exaggeration that her contributions to San Antonio cuisine have helped earn it a national reputation, especially given her appearances on nationally televised shows on the Food Network, the Discovery Channel, on Good Morning America, and more. She's a leader in the industry. I'll note especially her role as an executive board member of the Texas Restaurant Association and the chair of the Texas Restaurant Association San Antonio chapter. Bienvenida, Blanca.
Un gusto estar aquí contigo. Muchas gracias.
So beautiful to see you here. And I can tell you that you get points for building atmosphere. You're all set up.
Well, you know, it's important to showcase what we transpire on a daily basis.
Yes.
Very important.
So I began my programs with a little game.
I love this.
Of this or that.
Dale.
Mexico City or San Miguel de Allende?
Mexico City.
Me too. ¿Frijoles boludos o frijoles refritos?
Boludos.
A mí también.
100%.
Okay, this is a tougher one. Breakfast tacos or puffy tacos?
Breakfast taco.
Favorite fast food?
Bill Miller.
I love their iced tea.
And Whataburger at 2 a.m. when I'm coming from an event.
Ah, muy bien.
All in gala.
Mm-hmm. Favorite Mexican singer?
That's a tough one.
Hay tantos, ¿verdad?
Sí. Maná is my favorite of all times. I listen to Maná every single morning.
Wow.
Every single morning. And second, Luis Miguel.
Luis Miguel is mine.
And Juan Gabriel.
Oh, sí, pues all
Y
time.
Rocío Dúrcal.
Most essential ingredient in Mexican cuisine?
For me, lime.
You've said that. I've heard you talk about that before. A lot of people will say comino,
No.
but comino's overused.
Well, where I grew up in Guadalajara, comino was non-existent.
Yes.
We would
It's
have
more,
oregano before we had comino. I mean,
That's
I
right.
learned about comino as I moved into Eagle Pass back in 1975.
it's more frontera,
Sí.
right? Okay, and you just came from a beach, but I'm going to ask anyway. Beach or pool?
Beach.
Okay, here we go.
I love it.
When did you know you wanted to do this? Something that maybe drove you to this decision?
It's a combination of many things, but they all had the same common denominator. For example, when it has to do actually with who is my husband today, named Charlie Garza. And when I met Charlie, I was always inviting him over for either breakfast or dinner. He would come over. And I was my skills were somewhat limited, if you will. I knew that I wanted to showcase the way I grew up. For example, I would take a cantaloupe and take out the seeds, remove the seeds, and then remove in small scoops the cantaloupe, and then bring it back and serve it as a first course. And then
Inside the
cantaloupe, yes,
cantaloupe.
inside the shell.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how they would present it to us when we were little, growing up in Guadalajara. So you had a beautiful presentation of the cantaloupe, and then it was like extracted and put it back in.
Mm-hmm.
Along those lines, then it was a beautiful scramble huevos a la mexicana. Then it turned into crispy tacos and flautas and salsas. And we were dating, and I was living with about 6 of my roommates, and we would have like different types of meals. And he would always say, "This is so good. You should open up a restaurant. This is so good. You should open up a restaurant." Mm-hmm. So eventually there was a call into a location that they were selling. It was called the Way Station at St. Paul Square. The owners were Larry and Alice Peña, and they were selling, and we came in and we worked it out with the landlord.
Was that the casita?
That was the casita.
Oh, man, that was so beautiful.
It was a quaint little house. I did not have any experience whatsoever. However, there were only 13 tables, and how could I not get to know you? It was easy to, well, not easy. I mean, there were long days, super long days. But it was just the determination, the fierce determination to serve the way you were served when you were growing up.
Yeah.
And it was a little eerie in the beginning because, I mean, we had, 50 people at one point. So it was a matter of being able to time the tickets to come out. But again, we grew as we grew. And essentially, we were able to maneuver the crowds and eventually became a super popular place within the
Well, I
town.
remember waiting outside because it was crowded, and
Yes.
then you would come over to all the tables.
Yes. So that was very important. It was really important to make every guest feel welcome. And I think the cuisine that we had already back then it was opening in strides different flavors. We were all about the caldo tlalpeño. We were all about the pastel tres leches, clean flavors. Instead of caldo, I was calling it consommé de pollo.
Sí.
That was my style. So it was very pure, very clean in appearance and flavors, and yet it was very stout when it came to a really nice chicken stock to make a phenomenal broth or your consommé. Instead of having caldo and having large potato and calabaza and papa, whatever, mine were very dainty, so you could just eat and enjoy.
Sí.
And essentially, the crema chipotle, crema cilantro became the signatures. And over the years, we continue to perfect what we did and go on into broadening crema chipotle, crema cilantro with different aspects. For example, shrimp wrapped in bacon in today's world. And it's drizzled with crema al chipotle. Obviously, Arrachera La Brava is one of our biggest sellers. This is ultra trimmed outside skirt, and it's already unmarinated. So when it comes in, we clean it. So we have a really nice cut of meat, and then we marinate it with fresh lime, with fresh cilantro, and fresh jalapeno. And when you char grill this meat, is insane. People really enjoy Arrachera La Brava. We don't have comino in-house. We hardly use black pepper in our cuisine.
Wow.
Yes.
That's fascinating. I remember having fish there, and it was so flavorful, yet it wasn't fried. It was, I guess,
A la plancha.
a la plancha. That's
Sí.
what it was.
A la plancha.
So clean, so fresh.
Yes. So we use mahi-mahi. So we marinate that as well. We have it already individually in small bags with olive oil. We're careful with the lime so it doesn't cook. So it's mostly we add the lime at the last minute, but in the meantime, it's marinated with fresh garlic and olive oil and salt.
So you're going to make, I have lots of questions for you, but you're going to make 3 cocktails or attempt to make 3 today. So you can start making one, talk about it, and I'll keep throwing questions your way.
Sure.
So begin what you want to.
So because we are here in the summertime in San Antonio, you know how hot it can be. Watermelon is one of the biggest sellers that we have. As you can see right here, it's all freshly squeezed watermelon juice.
Did you just put it in the blender, or what do you do with it?
We do, but we also we put it in the blender, and we also keep some of the pulp, and then we mash it again to continue to get all that fiber, so that it just doesn't become just a liquid. You know, like when you do agua fresca, of course, then you add water and sugar. This is natural. 100% natural. I know there's watermelon puckers and different things, but we stick to fresh. We do all our purees are homemade. That's mango, strawberry, and Jamaica.
Okay.
All homemade. So basically what I do, just continue asking me about,
all right.
I take it for a living.
Okay,
so
all right, okay. And you just describe what you want, and then you can take on this question the way you want to.
So first of all, I'm going to take the tequila, and I'm going to do a 2.
And you want to tell us about this tequila?
Well, this tequila is very special to me because this is a tequila that my husband, it's his tequila. He distills and brings it in from Tequila, Jalisco, and it's called El Perrito. This is a house tequila, while it's a superior premium well. In other words, right here, this does not compare in price to Patron or the high-end tequilas, but it's very stout. You can you can taste it. It has been distilled and it has a beautiful color.
It is.
And it's strong.
It's so. It almost looks like a rosé. It's so pretty.
Yes. So
or amber.
Yes, amber. I would say, and it smells really good. Sometimes you have this category that is very alcohol based, where you can almost feel that you can put a match.
Oh yes.
This is very smooth.
That's 2 fingers, right?
This is a nice free pour to a 2-ounce pour.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the watermelon juice, 1, 2, and 3 as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring fresh lime juice. Nothing equals fresh lime juice. And I'm gonna bring something that makes our margaritas not too sweet. This is 100% agave nectar, diluted equal parts. So it's not so sweet and it's just perfect. So
it's diluted with water?
Así es.
Yes, because it can be so sweet.
So sweet. So when I'm going to add the ice cubes, I have a thing that I say is 14 and a half ice cubes. And of course, I'm here, so that's like 12, and I'm going to do this just for insurance.
And the color's so pretty.
It's so pretty. And basically right here between you and I, between you and I, we have a table. But right now, the margarita, what we want to do is really to shake it really well. I like to use the same ice. I don't like to put fresh ice because then you have a lot of ice and not too much juice. I prefer that our customers feel that they pay $11, $12 for a stout margarita, whether it's a high-end with Don Julio or tequila, Patron. Basically, what I want them to feel is that they got the value and they were able to have quite a few sips and not just ice. Many of us, you have an experience when you have a beautiful cocktail, but you sip it in 3 slurps. So, right here.
So you're
we're
gonna
pour that here. And we're gonna shake it. And I
so confident because I've made so many errors. And then it ends up all over my kitchen.
Well, I think what you do it really well. And there's things that I do just as well. So it just depends. We have our professions.
Okay.
So I kiss. If you notice, I have half the rim, actually 1/4 of a ring, already moistened with tajin. And this is, you can do with salt. But some people don't like salt in their margarita like me. Because sometimes you have too much salt and that salt sips to the bottom of the glass.
Yes.
And the margarita can be phenomenal, can be super delicious, but the margarita never had a chance because you had so much salt in it. So, let me see.
That is beautiful.
I shake it for a living. Margaritas, that is. So we're going to put...
Oh, and that has jalapeno.
That's jalapeno.
Watermelon. That is a beautiful drink.
Yes.
Gorgeous. Okay, let me give you a question so we can deal with that one. Because Guadalajara. That's why we have that song, because it's such a beautiful place. How has being from Guadalajara influenced your career, your food, your management, your life?
Everything I remember growing up in Guadalajara, so I was born there, and at the age of 13, we moved to Eagle Pass, Texas.
What a shock.
Yes, it was. That was a divorce trial separation. But I have to say that honestly, it made me a great person to come in from the big city to the small, friendly town. There were 2 very different cultures. I was growing up in Guadalajara in a great setting. Coming to Eagle Pass made us humble, made us real, made us, eventually the dollar devaluated in 1978. And that's when the truth really became real. For example, we now, if I wanted Jordache jeans, I had to work for them. So I started having a small little jobs at the age of 18, 16, 17, around there. The Ditos, remember those pants? They were like, I want some Ditos, I want some Jordache. And I could see my mom, she would never say no, but, we'll get it next time and we'll get it next time. So little by little, I started working. So basically, I feel that Eagle Pass gave me everything I am today. It made me work. It made me work for what I wanted and what I needed. And it gave me the sense of a real person. Guadalajara was phenomenal. Please don't get me wrong, but it was really nice living there. And probably if I had stayed, I would probably be a great grandmother by now. Because back then we were marrying at the age of 18, 20. And if we were doing the university, it's like, we're going to go through the career, we're going to study, but eventually we're going to find our husband, future husband. We're going to marry, have a phenomenal wedding, have a family soon. And then our children might have also repeated the cycle at the age of 20, 25. But I think by now I'll probably be a grandmother of maybe a 15, 16-year-old kid at least,
Wow.
I think. Luckily for me, I was able to maintain my focus on going back and forth. When I was in Guadalajara, I really wanted to be in Eagle Pass. And when I was in Eagle Pass, I really wanted to be in Guadalajara. So I had these two very almost wonderful feelings of two worlds. And that's what it really became for me.
And you belonged in both.
I did, and I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your daughters now are not in the industry, right? They're
not.
And they're off doing their own careers. What are they doing?
Adriana, the eldest, lives in Beverly Hills, and she loves the life and has definitely acquired the LA life for her.
Okay.
She works for Macallan, the whiskey, so she's in a high-end brand, and she represents the brand in marketing and those placements, and she's phenomenal restaurants and really, really good companies. As well, what happens with her, she's a Texan. She's super friendly, and she makes friends anywhere. She can really have opened up her own market in LA. So she's super happy. And Marisol, she lives in Dallas, and she has been working for a company ever since she graduated from college. She moved to Dallas, and she's has been living in Dallas since, and stayed with this company named Multiview. And she's had promotion after promotion after promotion. She does really well in her job. She travels many places. She was just in Canada last week representing and doing presentations on behalf of Multiview, which is a digital marketing company. So I'm very proud of my two daughters. They have done really well.
Good. Congratulations. Yes. Okay. You could start on another cocktail.
Margarita?
Yes, whatever you want. And I will ask you this.
Yes.
And it's I'm so sad to see a restaurant go out of business. And we've seen a lot of them.
Yes.
And what do we call this?
This is called the Zesty.
Wow.
The Zesty
And
Margarita.
por esto estaba picosa. I remember having this one.
Sí.
Yeah. Okay. So, so many have gone out. Businesses in general, restaurants especially.
What is happening right now, ever since after the pandemic, the industry lost a lot of workers. Many of the servers, many of the people in our kitchens, management, they just found another way of living. They say the restaurant business is probably one of the hardest jobs, and it's also probably the one that is most misunderstood.
Yes.
We have to deal with the emotions of our team, me as an owner, and I also have to deal with the emotions of our customers when they come in. So it's really up to us to really do the magic and change everybody's attitude.
It's psychology.
Casi. So,
Have you seen the show called The Bear?
I have not, but it's on my list.
Yes.
Elaine, I hardly watch TV.
Oh, of course. You're too busy. But I'm reminded of the emotions in that show. Okay, you're going at it there.
I am.
Okay, that's another two fingers. And that looks real mushy in there. It looks kind of dangerous.
It's phenomenal. It's changing rapidly.
Okay, all righty. So that was lime. Okay, now it's the agave.
You can use Cointreau and Grand Marnier, but we're keeping it simple.
I love Grand Marnier.
Oh, me too.
That's a very rich, whenever I have a a Margarita with Grand Marnier. It's like I'm living it up.
I like
That's
that
high
too
end.
a lot. I'm just trying to watch my calories. So today...
It's full of sugar.
Yes.
Well, everything's full of sugar.
So look how beautiful this is.
Sí, un bonito color.
Okay, so yes, our industry has lost a lot of workers.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And it has been something that I had 82 in our team pre-pandemic. I'm down to 40 to 48 on a good week. I'm half the size.
Wow.
Yeah. I think inflation is definitely something that has really worked against us.
Yes.
Another thing that is super important to take into consideration, the high expense of we women that have children, the nursery care. The child care service is A, hope you can find it, and B, if you find it, hope you can afford it. And most people cannot afford childcare right now. So that's really important. Credit card fees, those are huge. They're taking a big chunk of our work.
Should we be using a different way? Or should we be paying in cash or?
Cash is king. Cash is king. For example, some establishments pay anywhere from 2.5% to 4%. Take 4% of your volatile market that you already have.
Yes.
Gas station can fluctuate their prices. We cannot. We have our menus pre-printed, and basically that's what it is. You're going to spend that much more money to go out and get a brand new set of menus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's hard. And something else that we should not forget is the high rents that are happening now.
Oh, yeah.
Very expensive, triple net. Some people want percentages. Some people may not be very experienced when they sign up a new lease, and they have all these factors that they have not taken into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget the property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
All those, this is before you even open up your door.
Yeah.
So that's something that you need to, if you can, try to control your controllables. And then, of course, the food cost, and be very innovative. I think one of my lessons or my advice to many of us operators is we can eat one plate, but I can have 2 to 3 drinks. Focus on your bar program so that they will have that second drink. Mm-hmm. That second drink is crucial to lower your cost. Mm-hmm. Like this. Well, see, if you make it like that, probably. Yeah, and you know what? Again, I don't want too much ice in my drink. I want my client to feel that $10, $11 is just perfect. So basically, here's more love.
Oh, that is nice and muddy.
Uh-huh. So this is
okay, I'm going to taste that one.
Please.
I think this is the one I had at that. It was
the
fundraiser. It was the fundraiser for the Restaurant Association.
Correct, for the
in
Texas
your backyard.
Restaurant Association. It was my birthday party, so instead we had
my
bash. God. Yes. It's really good.
My producer, Monty, will have leftovers.
For sure. I have plenty. But there's a watermelon.
Oh, but this is so
good. I know. I like the watermelon.
I like the chile.
I do too. And then I can show you how to make a really stout, the one that's pretty much the one for aficionados. The one that we're going to make a skinny. So we will do, once again,
a skinny. So for those people that are watching, not only their weight, but their sugar?
Correct. This will be, it does not spike the...
Man, that is bravo.
Qué rico. So I didn't bring the Grand Marnier or the Cointreau, but the Grand Marnier definitely makes a nice Cadillac Margarita. Mm-hmm. And basically, for example, if you have a party where you have like 100 people, you want to get perrito. But if you have something that you have close friends, like Roberto's coming over.
Ay, Roberto.
Roberto,
sí.
papazote. So
we have a mutual friend named Roberto Treviño.
Uh-huh.
And he's the executive director of the Network of Young Artists.
Phenomenal, yes.
He's phenomenal. And he's also a producer of a movie that's coming out soon called Answer to My Prayer.
Nice.
He was involved with the Selena movie.
Yes.
And he's the best party guest.
He's hilarious.
Always.
I love the story about the perico, that the ceiling fan kind of took care of it?
I don't know. I'll have to learn that one. I have one for you that I cannot say on the among the general public, but I'll have to tell you about that one
He's so
too.
funny. He's great.
Yeah,
He's a great entertainer.
So if I'm having Roberto over, then you
want to do a different tequila. This
Right.
is for like a big party.
a big party.
This is something that you can batch.
It's
as well.
utilitarian.
Exactly, and it's very purposeful.
It's powerful too. I mean,
Yes.
it packs a little punch.
And the tequila, if you notice, it's really good as well. I call it a premium well tequila because that's what it is. So
Okay.
we're gonna do it once again. We're gonna do it in 3.
Okay.
One,
Oh my goodness.
2,
Okay.
and 3. So now you have this lime juice. 1, 2 on this one only.
Okay. All righty. You're good at measuring. You've been doing this for a while,
I
huh?
think so. I consider myself the queen of margaritas at Aldacos. At Aldacos. Remember, I'm being polite to everybody else.
Yes.
Everybody has their own.
Yeah. Everybody has their own,
But
and they're all. A lot of them are very, very good. But so when I don't get a good one, I'm so disappointed.
You know, it's important to have fresh lime juice and to shake it really well. Because if I do this and I just go like this and I serve it to you, nothing has opened. You have got to make sure that in this case we have the ice, but then when you're at the restaurant, you have the well, you have the ice bin, and it's really cold, so the ice is not breaking down as fast as it's happening in here. So you really, really, really have to really get all the ingredients to get to know each other and serve a well-balanced cold margarita. If I do this like that and I serve it to you, it's going to be lukewarm. It's also very important the kind of glass that you use. For example, I use a multi-purpose glass that I really enjoy. I have done the beautiful Margarita martini glass. This works for us.
Yeah.
This works really well because
It's nice and wide.
Yes.
And you can, if you like all of them, I have guests sometimes that they like all the little cositas that I make my own sort of
Qué rico.
sugar, salt, tajin, and other things, cranberries, and I put it all together. And I like to do the whole rim because they like the rim that way.
Yes.
And so you need something kind of a little bigger.
That, and it just opens up as well. It allows to breathe. And I also can serve a vodka tonic in here if I want to, a Chilton, which is my favorite drink in the entire world after a margarita.
What is it again?
Chilton, the Chilton.
A Chilton. That sounds so fancy.
That is. Actually, it's not so fancy, but it sounds fancy. It was named after a doctor, a professor in Texas Tech University. So he was a very well-known professor, and doctor professor, and basically he liked the Chilton. I mean, he ordered vodka soda with fresh lemon juice squeezed al minute. So you would squeeze, and then you would have all the citric gases coming out that they get caught in here. So it's very refreshing, and you do serve it with a little bit of salt. Think of lime and salt. Go well, but close your eyes and think of lime and salt and a little acidity, correct? After you had 2 or 3. Close your eyes again, and think of fresh lemon juice with salt. It's very great balance. And then you
It makes me...
Yeah, me too. So that is a great drink when you're watching also sugars and carbs. However, vodka does have a little bit carbs in there. However, you place the vodka in the Tito's, and then you squeeze the fresh lemon al minute, so you're catching everything. And then in this case, you can do cold Topo Chico.
Oh,
Not
good.
room temperature, so the bubbles are insane. And you take it to your mouth, and it's like a citric love affair.
And so if I go to a bar, they'll know how to make this? Is it a pretty well known or no?
It's catching up.
Okay.
There is a few places that...
Tell me the name of it again.
Chilton.
Okay.
Chilton.
Okay.
It's my favorite.
Okay.
Because...
Well, vodka is also probably the least caloric.
Correct. So it can be a little tricky because you don't taste it, and before you know, you had too many Chiltons.
Yes,
But it's really good. And
you need to watch it anyhow.
Yes, the Topo Chico, you feel very hydrated the next morning. So here's our margarita. Yeah, I call for aficionados only. Like if we have a young person that comes in and says, I'm going to try the bonita, that's what we call it. We're like, I don't think that's one's for you. And we do have a disclaimer on the menu. This is not a sweet margarita. This is for older palates.
Yes, I do not like sweet margarita.
I don't either.
I feel like it's one of those mixes. Oh, that's pretty too. It's interesting how the colors look so different.
Yes. Try that.
Okay, all right. I'm here to serve. Or to be served.
And this one is going to be quite different than the original one.
Oh, it's perfect.
It's
not sweet, but it's not sour. You taste the tequila, you taste the lime, and it's just very clean tasting.
Yes.
Very, it's not overdone. There's so many overdone. And I cannot, if I look at a bar and they have some sort of mix, that's it.
As well, yes.
Not going to do that.
No, I feel, and it's something that hopefully many of us that are like, anyone that is like thinking about maybe how do I raise the income in my restaurant? If they have a liquor license, number one, serve responsibly, but put out good drinks. That will make a difference.
I think even if you do fewer ones, you don't have to do everything under the creation. Just do the ones you know best, right?
Do what you can, do it right, do it well.
Like when I order an old-fashioned, right? They're so good. Really, it depends on the quality of the whiskey or the bourbon you're using. But the big ice.
The big ice.
If you don't have a big ice, don't come at me with an old-fashioned.
Don't serve it.
Don't serve it.
Yes.
If you didn't go to the trouble of making big ice,
yes,
I'm out.
It's part of doing business.
Yes.
And if you want to serve an old-fashioned, have your bitters and have the right orange and then have the cube.
Okay, now describe your favorite dinner and start with the cocktail and the appetizer and then go from there.
Like if I'm hosting for me, my friend, my house. Well, absolutely. From the moment they walk in, I would have a couple of drinks. I would have palomas because that's important with freshly squeezed
grapefruit juice.
Yes. Palomas, margaritas. I would have, the paloma would be like maybe on the sweeter side. Then I would have the bonitas, where I would have
which is this one.
Yes. With a combination of Grand Marnier and Cointreau. And I would be having those already predetermined as far as the salt or the chilito. I would have mini sopes, Butler Pass. So the sopes would be as large as maybe 2 bites. And that's
that sort of tortilla that's
the masa.
Is a masa that makes like a little cup or whatever it's being filled with.
Correct. Our masa would have, as it's being mixed together from scratch, I would also put a tiny amount of bacon fat and a tiny amount of...
Bacon is never wrong.
Correct. And the chispitas, like, how to say chispitas of bacon?
Oh, like a grease...
like a bacon... tiny cut up, like in tiny pieces.
Little pieces of bacon that's just minute in there.
In the masa. So basically...
That's good.
Yes. So what I would like to do, they would be cooked, pre-cooked already, so that we don't have to be making them al minute. But when we reheat them to be serving to our guests...
They get sizzly.
They get sizzly, crispy, flavory, and buttery, and oily, but not oily.
Well, Roberto would be there for
course. Sure. And those could be different either depending on what I'm serving for the main course, but typically it could be like potato and chorizo, or it could be like creamy frijolitos like the peruanos, the mayacobas.
The mayacobas are so good. People don't make those enough here.
They're expensive.
Oh, okay. True. I bought just a little bit in the last time I went to HEB. But when you mash them, they're so creamy and they're lighter than a pinto and they're richer than a pinto.
Yes. Just to give an example, 50-pound sack of pinto beans is around $35. Peruano, Mayocoba, $100. Yeah.
Why? Because it's coming from so far, or they can
It's
just
always
charge?
been that. I try to buy those when I first opened Aldacos, and they were prohibitive, the price.
Yeah.
Followed by a very dramatic dinner sitting at my house on the table where I would have a soup, either caldo tlalpeño or sopa de tortilla or sopa de frijol negro. But most likely would be sopa de tortilla that would be served Russian style. So I'm pouring the broth at the table.
It's Russian style, and then the other things after.
It's already there, already preset.
Oh, they're already in there. Then you just pour the soup.
Them in, and you would serve on the left and pick up from the right. That gets picked up, and the next would be having I like something hot, cold, hot, or vice versa. So I would have very likely a duet of a chicken breast with grilled panela on the inside and zucchini ribbons on the outside. And then a medallion of a carne asada.
Yes, I'm so hungry.
With some type of veggie, probably calabacitas gratinadas, and sourdough bread with compound poblano butter, agua de Jamaica at the table, and filter chilled water as well so they can clean their palate as they're going. By that time, I will move on to red wine, and then I would finish with our signature pastel tres leches so that I can continue to pass my love. However, this one would be with rompope.
¿Qué es rompope?
Rompope, think of eggnog, but not so eggy. They're in the same family. It's creamy. If we were to put an eggnog and a rompope, they look identical, but they taste different. This was very like... the rompope has alcohol, like rum in it, or tequila. It's not tequila, but it's just envinado. It has that really nice after flavor that's not too strong, but it definitely gets to you. Rompope was my grandmother's favorite. She was almost like very old, and she got a campanita. She would be ringing all day long. Rompope, rompope.
And is it served at special holidays, or because it sounds really heavy?
It's year-round.
Okay.
It's served year-round. Like if you went to Mexico, it's kind of like a cordial that typically happens at the end of any meal. It is a cordial, but since it's creamy, it will go really well with my porous pastel tres leches. I like doing also frangelico. So we'll mix the milks, like condensed, evaporated, and whole, and then we put frangelico in it. And then we have the love of more, reapplying. On that one, we serve with toasted walnuts, shaved walnuts. And then...
how many calories are we talking in this meal?
They don't matter at this point.
Oh, at this kind of special event, you don't count them?
No.
Okay.
No, it's a very special event. The whole china, the whole, salió la casa por la ventana. So you just brought everything out. You bring out the beautiful china, the silverware. I don't have any silver. I didn't register when I got married. However, pretty much it would be like just the love of setting up a beautiful table.
Yes.
And the way we serve it.
And you can set up a beautiful table no matter your economic means, right?
Absolutely.
Because you bring out your most beautiful things. My mom had a very modest kitchen, but we knew when it was a special thing because there were platters out or bowls out that she doesn't take out all the time.
That's correct.
So and you know what? H-E-B lets us buy all kinds of colorful, beautiful products.
Yes.
Among bowls and things that I can make a table look really cheery and inviting on with an $8 bowl.
I have purchased many of those for the restaurant, actually.
I saw them the last time I was there.
Yes,
I think I have that bowl, and it was from H-E-B.
I'm having a hard time buying more of those. I think...
they're not I haven't seen them as often, so they're not creating more. There's probably some problems in the pipeline.
I need to switch.
So I do have another question. I think you're done with all your beverages, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we're almost at the end of summer, even though, we still have so many hot days ahead. We have summer for a long time in San Antonio. But I wonder if you could kind of tell us about the trends in cocktails that you've seen, not just yours, but others, and also trends in food.
So let's focus on the cocktails because that's something that we keep very close, as mentioned. It's something that definitely allows us to lower our margins. And not lower our margins, but lower our costs and increase our margins. Basically, Aperol Spritz is hot. And we're not in Italy, but a lot of people want it. So the Aperol Spritz is doing really well.
Describe them.
So basically, it would be like vodka. And then you have the Aperol Spirit. It's kind of like an orangey color. You mix it up together. And you add a little bit of soda, and then you add a wedge of an orange.
And it's very carbonated.
Very. And you add Prosecco in it as well.
So it's very refreshing.
It is refreshing. It's not for me. It kind of reminds me of a tiny taste of a Big Red.
Oh, okay.
But I know that people love Big Red.
Yeah.
Aperol Spritz is very popular. I think most people are serving it now. And also Aperol Spritz with mezcal. Mezcal is very hot.
Yes.
People
in Mexico
love
City,
mezcal.
everywhere in
Yes.
Mexico, it's very hot.
Mezcalinas are everywhere right now. If you're paying attention and you really want to trend, pay attention to social media about the trending cocktails that are coming up. I have to say that if you have that passion and you want to resonate and have a really good bar program, go fresh. It's number one, more economical. You control it. You can determine how good it tastes, what you want to play with it. I feel it's a big, big deal to continue to do fresh.
Yeah.
For example, espresso martini, super hot. We sell a ton of espresso martinis, but we don't buy the coffee liqueur. We brew the espresso and
La
you
cosa
make
más
it.
simple, ¿verdad?
And you know why? Because when the espresso's hot and you shake it, it gets really foamy. It doesn't happen the same when you have cold on cold.
The other, I was going to mention before I forget that your combination water and agave. What a good idea, because I know that when I've used it on something, it's too sweet.
Too sweet.
La cosa más simple, add
Claro.
water to it and dilute it. And you still get the flavor.
Yes. So, but it's important to measure. Don't just eye it.
It's half and half.
Half and half.
Okay.
And there's also the lighter version of agave, and then there's the darker version. So it depends. At the end, you have the darker. We prefer to purchase the lighter color so that we get that gold color rather than, even though we are diluting 50% with the dark agave, it's a little too brown for our preference.
Okay. I also noticed that, and this might be an old trend, not a new one, the use of herbs like lavender and honey in cocktails, and I love it.
There's a really nice gin out there called Empress Gin, which is lavender color. And gin is hot. We're trying to work right now with gin recipes as well, so that we can trend into the next 6 months so that people begin to trust the gin drink, because not too many people like gin. Mexico City people love gin.
Well, gin and tonic is a classic.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm in.
I like a good gin with nice like aguaquina, and then have a cucumber slice. That's also very refreshing.
That and cucumber and all sorts of fruits are also another trend that has, I guess, stuck around, right?
For sure. I mean, for example,
Like your lime, watermelon, chile.
See. Basically, I want to say that we have been juicing and infusing before the mixology term existed, which I'm going to go back to like 1989. Why? Growing up in Guadalajara, people juice all the time. So I've been juicing. I love beet juice. We were doing a beet margarita. I kind of got rid of it because I've been busy with other things. But the beet margarita people were curious about it.
It's a beautiful color.
It's good. It does taste earthy, but out of 20, maybe 2 came back. It's like, no, it's tastes too much like dirt to me. No, I don't want it.
It does tend to.
But, beet is very trendy. A beet salad with watermelon combined together with either blue cheese or feta, insane. Arugula at the bottom, a nice olive oil with fresh lemon juice, and the perfect salt is really good.
What's a perfect salt?
For me, it's called Sal de elefante, you can buy it at Walmart. It's a tiny little, I know, there's something
Oh
that
my
you can
God.
buy.
Okay. Sal de elefante,
Yes,
like
it's-
elephant. Elephant salt.
It's a beautiful presentation. It's a white cloth bag that has the inside with the perfect 1 pound of the most beautiful crystallized, crunchy salt that,
You heard it here. Go out to Walmart.
yes, is at the bottom. You can. They don't have it at eye level. It's at the
Okay.
very bottom. It's made in falfurrias.
De veras.
Sí, en serio.
Is it from the salt that comes from the beaches there? Because there's
Must be.
there's a big salt lake there that's very famous.
I couldn't tell you, but I know that I love sal de elefante, and I love to keep. You know how people in Mexico keep the sacks of the beans and then make walls out of it.
Mm-hmm.
These little bags are so cute. They're very well made, and they're red, white, and blue. Very Americanized.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful red, beautiful blue.
I'm going to rush right after this
Yes.
and going to Walmart.
Sal de elefante.
Okay, very good. All right.
So, yeah.
I have lots of questions for you,
Yes.
but we have limited time, and I want to get to this question. What's
Sounds
your advice?
serious.
Well, because there's a lot of people out there. I mean, there was a young man that was going to be on the show and he couldn't come. He makes a drink that I really love at La Ruina.
Uh-huh.
It's called the RGB Cooler. Love it.
Nice.
We must go have it.
Yes.
It has lavender in it, honey, grapefruit juice,
Qué rico.
rum. It's really, really good. Anyway, every time he makes it, I'm happier than when other people have made it.
I understand.
So people like that, they're very ambitious. They're looking to the future. They're working in an industry right now that's not. You almost think that there may not be a future in it for you when you see another great one like Botica this last couple of weeks closing down. I mean, which is a wonderful restaurant. So, what's your best advice to an aspiring restaurateur?
First of all, I think to have a really nice, a good, knowledgeable accountant. An accountant that is very seasoned within the restaurant industry, because there are many things that the accountant can advise as far as, like, let's talk about the tip credit. That's a very good return at the end of the year. It's really important to keep track of the credits, the tip credit, and continue.
What is a tip credit?
So basically, of all the tips that you claim or that you report, towards the end of the year, it's a deduction, and you get
for your taxes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So it's really, really important. The tip credit as well is something that is critical in the restaurant accounting, as well as I myself got behind payroll taxes at the little house. That's no fun. You have to pay your payroll taxes no matter what. It's really hard to catch up.
You have to pay it quarterly, really.
Well, it depends on the size of the payroll tax, because if it's a large amount, they make you do it every week so that you don't get behind.
Oh,
There's a science behind that.
Every week.
Every
It
week.
tells you what you really make.
True. And at the end of the day, in today's environment, I mean, it's just be true to your books, because at the end of the day, if you're doing very well and it's time for you to buy the land and the building, if you don't have the right set of books, no bank is going to touch you. There's just got to do it. You got to do it right, report everything. That way you have a solid income statement. I think that's
I
really
didn't
important.
expect that. But that is so smart.
Well, that's what
I expected something a little more like inspirational.
No.
It's very concrete.
Yes. I mean, I've been in it 35. Did I know that when I started? No. It has been a journey of learning. I mean, today we're robust, we're sound, we own our building.
That's a beautiful building
is
on
a
a
beautiful
beautiful,
building.
nice cliff.
Yes.
You can see out to the city.
If I did not own it, I would probably be paying $30,000 a month in rent, plus my
crazy.
triple net outside. And then the landlord basically passes to you the property taxes. You can't make any money.
Yeah.
You cannot. So I would say just, be very true to your business, and definitely have a always have a very good advisor, which will be your accountant, to tell you how you are really doing.
Yeah, and the accountant will probably tell you don't buy the mayo corpa beans.
Exactly. Or figure something else. The mayo corpa beans are phenomenal. Maybe do a special, but maybe not on every single plate. Or, food cost is everything right now.
Well, I can't thank you enough for being here and for making these beautiful drinks.
Thanks.
I know we're going to have sippers from the newsroom come by, so
of course.
Thank you for bringing all of this and for being such a beautiful guest.
Gracias. Un placer.
You can watch the video version of Nosotros on YouTube, and you can listen to it anywhere you get your podcast. My Metro column appears on Wednesdays and Fridays in the San Antonio Express News. My email is eayala@express-news.net. Reach out whenever you want to. I love story ideas. Thanks for listening, and join us next time on Nosotros.